If you didn't know, I have another podcast, Brain Laundry Podcast, and I had some unreleased episodes on it that I thought, since they're unreleased, they'll be better over here because I feel like they would help you with business and with being more successful as an entrepreneur. So I didn't release them on there yet. So I just wanted to let you know that there's going to be some websites mentioned and some links mentioned that are for my other podcast. So just change that in your mind when I say those websites. Well, brainlaundrypodcast.com is the same website. It is still going to link you to the same website. But the websites you're going to want to go to for any tools and tips from this are going to be smalltownetrepreneurs.com if you want to retrieve any of these tools that I talk about in this episode, or if you want to review this episode in any way. It's going to be smalltownetrepreneurs.com. You can go to brainlaundrypodcast.com, but I just didn't want you confused if you didn't listen to that podcast or you haven't heard of it yet. brainlaundrypodcast.com is still active. It is the same website, but I wanted to let you know in case you have not heard of that podcast. But you can type in smalltownetrepreneurs.com and get the same results and find everything you need on there. So that's the quick disclaimer. Let's hop right into it. Enjoy this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I love seeing you take time out your day to listen to this information. And I know somebody out there is working towards creating success. So enjoy, and I'll let you get right into this episode. So you got this business you've created, and you haven't seen any progress. Maybe you haven't grown at all. You're just kind of stagnant, sitting there, curious, wondering, what do I do? Or maybe you haven't started yet because you simply see people like this and you're like, well, I don't want to fail. I don't want to start this business and I don't want to not grow. How do I do it? Well, I'm going to share with you the ways to do that right now. This is 10 mistakes that can be fixed that most people, entrepreneurs, overlook from time to time, including myself on my journey. So stay tuned. I missed these. I learned from them and applied them to grow my business. And I'm teaching you so you don't have to make that same mistake, or maybe you're in that rut right now, and I'm going to tell you how to get out of it. So stay tuned. Small Town Hustlers Podcast. Thank you for spending some time with me today on this journey. I'm going to share with you something that's going to save you some time. It's going to save you some stress. So stay tuned. And we always do that over here on Small Town Hustlers Podcast. If you're new here, we do new episodes weekly, every single Wednesday. You can check out the other podcast, Brain Laundry Podcast, every Monday. Now, that's more on personal improvement, how to improve your mindset, improve your personal health. Wednesday, Small Town Hustlers Podcast is strictly business and entrepreneurship for people who live in small, limited resources, so we can create success. Because not everybody has all these resources that everybody likes to talk about, and not everybody is surrounded by places to network. So we got to go about things a bit differently. So consider subscribing if that suits your interests, or if that applies to you. I know how it can be, and we got the answers right here. You will always walk away from this podcast without wasting time. I try to wrap it up quick, and you'll always get tips to physically apply in your life. We don't just talk about it, we give why, what, and how every single episode. So how you can apply it in life. Let's get it right now. Stay tuned for all 10 of these. Now, these are 10 things to do when you find yourself not growing, not stepping up to that next level in business. You're going to want all 10 of these, so stay tuned. Thank you for listening. Let's get it. What's going on? We got 10 things right here. It's kind of a self-audit, so you can make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do in this list and not doing the things and admitting the things in this list. It's a self-audit checklist, so be paying attention to these. You don't want to miss these because, as an entrepreneur, we can get to going down a trail and we got so much on our mind and different things that we're learning, different things to do. We may even have a team that we hire, either or. We have a lot that we have to pay attention to, so we forget things sometimes, even if some of them are simple. Or maybe we haven't gotten to that stage to understand these yet. And, I got there, I had to learn these things, I had to research and learn them as I went. And this is going to save you the stress that I went through. And, when you're just sitting there like in the back of your mind, you're like, dude, am I ever going to grow this business? You might got that voice in your head asking you that. Well, these right here will definitely put that voice to silence if you're not doing these. And it's kind of a self audit. So whatever you need to fix out of these 10 things, do that. They're not hard to do. And if you get these things fixed, all of them, then you're going to grow your business. You're going to see some growth within a couple of months. I can guarantee you're going to start seeing things get a little bit better and more progress being gained in your business. So 10 tips. We're going to start off, of course, with number 1. These are not in order, by the way. So first thing is, when you're afraid to admit that you don't know everything in your business, and this goes through whatever stage you're at. At the beginning, we don't know everything. We're having to learn, research, study, look up things, and that can be overwhelming. But you gotta be patient at that stage. That's the stage you have to be patient at, understand, and you learn. And try not to overlearn. Just learn things and apply things that is current to your business that you need to know right now. Don't get overwhelmed and consume a bunch of content, because I know it's very, very tempting. I highly gotta stress this right here. If you're absorbing too much content, you gotta cut it down, because it can be very overwhelming, and it kind of opens up different doors to learning different things, and it's just a never-ending process, and you got to get that understood with yourself to begin with. So at the first, you got to admit to yourself that you don't know everything at the first of your business when creating. I'm talking about, this could be the first year and a half, 2 years, depending on what kind of business you have. And then it can apply to us after we've been going for a while, because we know everything as we think. Things have been going smooth. We're seeing growth. Maybe we're just kind of stagnant though. We're not growing at a good rate. We're not growing at a rate that we see our friends or our network growing to. We're not growing at that same rate maybe, and we're doing things all on our own. We may be burning out, and we could be outsourcing some of these things, and I'm going to get into that. I know I've had a bunch of questions about outsourcing, so that's a future episode to stay looking for, maybe next week. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to go over the whole process. I'm going to give you the best places to hire a quality assistant and how to make sure that you get the good one, or get a good one, not the good one. I got the good one though. I found a good one, and I'm going to give you the steps of how I did that. So stay tuned for that. That's probably going to come next week. But when we're at that later stage in business, some things we need to outsource, or either cut it out if possible. Do we have to do those things that we're doing that maybe we're not good at? We got to pay attention, and this is a self-audit. So learn from other workshops potentially. Now I'm not saying you got to cancel it out. Being afraid to admit that we don't know everything could mean pay for some courses. Take a day out the week to where we study instead of work, where we study these things. Now, taking good quality notes, taking a good day to actually consume, get into our mind, into our brain, and practice the things that we don't know. We can learn them. You don't have to outsource them. We can just take a day instead of working and being stressed out and confused to maybe buy a course or get a book, read a book, practice, whatever it may be. But admit that we don't know everything. If some task or something, part of your business, bothers you and stresses you out, make sure that it's not coming from a lack of knowledge. And if it is, figure out if you want to learn how to gain that knowledge or if you would rather outsource that task to someone else. And that's number one. Number two, doing busy work, but it ain't getting you nowhere. Not doing the things that matter. You've got to meet your commitments, be responsible and accountable, and expect the same for your team and for yourself. You've got to meet you better be setting goals. If you know me, you know who I am on goals. You've got to commit yourself to your goals, and then you've got to do the things that meet those commitments, and you've got to be responsible and accountable for you and your team, if you have a team, to ensure that you're doing the things that actually matter. You're not sitting there doing tasks that are just kind of busy work. You see people a lot of the time in life, they're just busy, but they're not, you don't see nothing different about them. Their pockets aren't bigger, their business isn't bigger, they're still making the same income they've always made because they're doing things that necessarily aren't necessarily good for them. You know what I'm saying? And I was terrible at this myself. That's why I had to throw it on here. And this is the most important one, in my opinion, that I personally struggled with. And if you struggle from having a lot of tasks, look at that list that you're doing, that you're creating, and see, are there some things that you can delete and completely not do that's unnecessary? And if some of them are necessary, like I said, see if you can outsource it, which I'm going to touch on in the next episode. So make sure that you're doing the things that are getting you to your goals. Don't just be doing busy work. Do the things that matter, that get you to your goals, that get you to the goals that you committed to, and commit to that. Commit to being effective. That's my goal for 2019. That's my theme for 2019. I got it on my big calendar. It just says be efficient. I want to be efficient with my time and efficient with how I do things. Then number 3 is sometimes we skipped over and we don't know the basics, especially with this online content that we consume. We get all this content, we start learning things, and we skip it's kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog. You start rolling and you go fast, and you're skipping over the basics, and you don't know the things that are key essentials to your business that are just kind of basic. So make sure that you know the basics of your business. I'm not sure what business you're in. You have to look that up, but look up the basics for your business and make sure that you have the basic knowledge for your business and everything. And really look at it and make sure that you're not just like, yeah, I know this, yeah, I know that. Like, I've dealt with that myself. Make sure that you know the basics completely and look at it and ask yourself, do you know this? How well do you know this? And if somebody came up to you right now and said, hey, I'll give you $1,000 right now and a house, any house that you want, I'll get it built for you if you can't find it already made, but I need you to do this task for me at 100% quality. Could you do that? And if you can't answer yes to that, honestly, maybe study it some more if it's one of those basic skills. Now, we're not having I'm not going for perfection on things, but as far as basics, you should have a high understanding and be able to apply quality to the task if it's a basic task for your business to perform. So really study that and ask yourself, could you do that? Do you really know how to do that in a quality way that ensures, your business functions properly at a basic level? Number 4, allowing other people to bring you down. You're going to have haters, your parents, potentially, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. People are going to hate on you. You cannot let them bother you. They don't understand what's going on, because unless they have a business, even if they do have a business, they don't have your business, and they're not you. They don't have your brain. They don't have nothing about you that you have. You know you. You gotta have faith in you, even when somebody's doubting you. And then you're gonna get doubted. And if you can't handle that, then you're gonna have a rude awakening and a hard time on your journey, and you might not make it. So put that shield on, put that shell on, man. Give people that mental bird, flick them off mentally. You ain't gotta do it out publicly and physically, but give them that mental bird, like, okay. And then kind of, you can say to them, that's your belief. I don't believe that. That's a belief you have for yourself. It has nothing to do with me, man. You don't know how I can handle business, how I can create a business, how I can deal with business situations. You don't know me like that, But the best way to deal with this by not saying nothing at all, just telling yourself that's a belief that they have for themselves. It has nothing to do with me, and move on. Don't even say nothing to them. They're toxic, and they may not even mean bad. They may not mean nothing bad towards you. They may mean well, but not everybody's going to understand. So you're going to have to understand for them. That's a job. That's a thing we have to step up to as entrepreneurs. We got to step up for other people a lot of the time, even when it comes to people trying to bring us down. We got to step up and believe ourselves, and show them that, hey, this is possible, and potentially be an influence on them to do something great in life as well. This is number 5, and this is a start right now. If you have not started on this is very, very, very crucial. And some people don't do it at the highest levels, but this is going to create some success in your business to where you're going to be very happy if you do this, and you'll know why. If you haven't done this, you'll know why whenever something occurs, something, you ask yourself something comes, this is going to help you out in taxes, answering questions for yourself, answering questions other people have for you, answering questions for your team, hiring people. This is going to help you out with telling your kids what you did when you were younger, before they were born. That is documenting your process. Start documenting your days. You don't have to get full detail, but you can even do little videos of yourself, or vlogs, personal vlogs. You don't even gotta post them. But start documenting key things that you learn, websites that you went to. You can do this in paper or online. I do it in a journal, personally. You could do online or use apps or websites, whatever you choose. But start documenting. It pays off in so many ways. That's an episode in its own. But some things you need to document is things that you learn. Put the date or whatever. New things you learn. Things that change in business. Income, records that you break. Subscription growth. Income, new courses you created, new income revenues, whatever. Just anything that's going on in your business that wasn't going on yesterday. Any knowledge that you knew that you didn't know yesterday, or that you improved on since yesterday, write it down every day and start documenting it. It's going to help you, like I said, answer questions, can help you explain to your kid things. It's just it's something that's an episode in its own. Like I said, it's going to pay off for you, and you're going to be glad that you start doing that. And I started a little over a year into my business, and I started with the intent that I wanted to leave something to my children, so they knew kind of what I did, what my days were like, and so my family knew that how hard I'm working for them to create a a good life for them, a life that we haven't seen in my family personally. And I wanted to share the ways that how I did that with them in case they ever got curious and to look back on it, when I'm older. And then, we started answering questions for taxes and that I had, that other people had, that I was high. And I didn't even know how much it was going to pay off. So that is the essential tip. That's that exclusive. That's that Small Town Hustlers exclusive right there. So you get that right here, first of the first. And I'm going to explain that some more and some more tips and stuff like that. I'm going to be posting on the website for you to go back and look at as well. You already know where to go to. If you're new here, it's brainlaundrypodcast.com. Go there. You'll see the blog, the show notes, the tools page, and you can click on that. And I'm talking about there is tips for days on how to help you in any area you could think of. I'm adding to it weekly, so all kind of great tips on there. If you haven't viewed the website yet, definitely go check it out. It's brainlaundrypodcast.com, and lots and lots of value, lots of tips and tools for you to use in your life on there. So check it out if you haven't. And also, if you didn't know, or if you have a question and you forgot where to go to, just same website, Brain Laundry Podcast. Click on the contact page and you can send me any question that you have for a future episode. And it could be in business and entrepreneurship, or if you got something going on personally, mindset that you want to share, we can share that with me, and we'll talk about it on Monday's episode on Brain Laundry Podcast. Just go to contact. You can send it to me through email, or you can go to Instagram at Brain Laundry Podcast on Instagram and DM me on there as well. And, show your boy some love and give me a follow, and I will engage with you on there also. But let's get right into this other tip. We got 5 more. We're halfway done. So, number 6 is starting multiple businesses and not focusing on one. We tend to do that. And I started off with a whole nother business idea, and I did this, but the thing was, I did it, and then when I got this idea, I eventually completely ditched the other one. And now you see people starting multiple businesses and they're millionaires, billionaires, whatever, but the thing about that is you have to create at least one business and get it to being successful and where you want it before you can even focus on another one. So until you get that business that you want, that you're for sure you want, make sure it's the right business. Just make sure it's a business that you want to start. When you get that in mind, even if you've changed, even if you've got to change, I changed, but I stuck with my second choice, and that's what I went with. Make sure that you're doing the right business, the one that you are passionate about and that you enjoy doing. Make sure that is the business that you're trying to grow and make successful. And focus on that, only that. Don't get distracted by any other business ideas. Once you get that to where it's sustainable and it's successful, it's creating profitable income, it's creating your dream life, and it's been doing that for some time, then you can potentially focus on something else. But don't get distracted by any other business ideas. That is tip number 6. Number 7 is trying to do everything yourself, which is why I get a bunch of questions about outsourcing, and I still don't outsource enough, I don't feel like, but I do outsource. But you can't do everything yourself and still be successful and grow a business. You have to know, as a good entrepreneur, you got to know how to delegate, plain and simple. If you do not delegate things, you're going to burn out and get overwhelmed, and it's not going to go good. If you try to do everything yourself, you are setting yourself up for failure. I promise you this isn't cliche. This happened to me. It's happened to others. Just listen, and you'll hear everybody saying this. You've got to at least create a team. If you can't hire somebody, potentially get a friend. Just do some small tasks for you. And you've got to get that team going. You have to do that. And then you'll start to see, once you do that, you'll see a pretty big bump in growth, in things getting done, the right things getting done at a quality level. You'll start seeing that start present itself in your business. That's number 7. Leading into number 8, which is not adapting. People don't adapt as an entrepreneur. They don't adapt with their business, and they end up failing. You got to adapt as a person. You've got to adapt with schedule, potentially. You've got to adapt with personal life. You've got to adapt with the market. You've got to adapt with platforms, sites, social media. Just understand that you've got to adapt. So when you find yourself saying, well, I don't want to do this, and this is what's popping now, or did something happen, and you're not wanting to change with it, stop when you start to see that and become conscious of that and realize, hey, whoa, I've got to adapt with what's happening and make that adapt easy. And you just start to see yourself improving. You start to see your business improving, because that's something that I didn't do at first. I was like, well, I don't want to start this, I don't want to do it. But that's what was working. And then I was like, well, I'm just working on the old platform or with the old system. Everybody else is telling me to do this. I don't want to do it. And everybody that's not doing it is failing. Everybody that's doing it is succeeding. So be aware of what's going on and adapt with the times, which is into number 9. Pay attention to social media and the trends. What's trending, what's going on, what's relevant, what's hot, what's popping, to know if you need to adapt. Pay attention to social media. That's a good way to stay relevant and see what is changing, what's trending, and if you need to adapt in the first place. And then last but not least, number 10 is comment down below which one of these do you have the most problem with. That's number 10. Comment down below which one of them other 9 problems that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners have that get overlooked. Which one of those stood out to you the most, and which one do you have the most problems with, so I can create something more in depth on that, on the one that occurs the most. And I might make one for everybody that has a question. I want to make sure everybody gets helped over here. That's what I'm about. And I want to make sure that you can go and apply it and take action on it. You have the ways to take proper, sufficient, efficient action. That's all we're about, man. And so comment down below which one of these do you have the most problem with. And that's it right there, baby. So, like I said, more notes on this on the website, brainlaundrypodcast.com. And then you can also get some other tools for your business, for your life on there as well. And then go to contact and send me any question that you have for the next episode, Small Town Hustlers Podcast or Brain Laundry Podcast. Send me the questions that you have, and I'm going to answer it for you for sure. You can bet that up. I try to answer everybody's question, and if I haven't gotten to yours, stay tuned for the next episode, because I got you an episode coming. I promise you that. The questions that I've been getting the most, I've been creating the episodes for, and I got that episode for next week that I've been studying for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it's coming. It's coming. You know what question you've been asking me, so it's coming, and I'm providing that quality episode with everything you need to know to do that. So exclusive coming next week. Stay tuned for that. And then, just subscribe. If you are wanting to create a successful business, you're wanting to learn ways to become a more successful entrepreneur, but you're in small towns or you're in an environment that is lacking, that is limited in resources, and we don't have networking or events, or we can't even go to a place and hire somebody locally because we don't have a chamber of commerce potentially, or we don't have a place where we can go hire an assistant personally. We got to do everything online. If you are just in an environment that lacks those resources and you still want to be a successful entrepreneur and have a successful business, then subscribe to this podcast and share it with someone else who has that same drive, that same passion for success, because you're always going to walk away with something that you can apply to take action with over here. There's never no fugazi stuff over here. I'm always trying to answer questions for you, asked by you. So thank you for listening today. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode, Small Town Hustlers Podcast. I'm going to catch you on the next episode, next Wednesday. Keep your head up. Believe in yourself, because you're going to be successful. You're going to create success, and your business is going to grow. Don't forget to make sure that you self-audit yourself and apply anything that you need to from this episode to yourself, to your business, and let's just get it. I love you. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you next Wednesday. See ya.